Let's talk about 3 ways that I've been making money as a freelancer during quarantine.
Feeling myself, I'm doing it right this time. Yeah. Never get rest, I'm staying up late all night.
So just to be clear, I don't have any extreme source of residual income. In fact, I don't have any at all. I make $0 from YouTube, so this is all based on my freelance work and how I've been able to do that during this time. I'm just a normal freelance artist living in New York City, and then on top of that, trying to do it during a global pandemic. So let's just jump into it.
Gaby!
Yo, dude, I'm just filming a video right now.
I was gonna ask if you could help me film a video.
I mean, I guess, can we do it when like this is done?
I got some paper for you if you could help out.
I talked about it briefly in the last video, and it still stands true for today, and that's filming for Brett Conti, who's actually behind the camera right now.
Well, this is a turn of events. Does this mean you're gonna start paying me now?
And even though we aren't traveling, Brett still needs to put out content on a weekly basis, and since we're roommates, it's easy for me to help.
And it's easy for me to save on travel expenses. But once this quarantine's over, we're definitely gonna be back on the road.
Where are we going first?
Hawaii, Bolivia, Egypt, Japan, China?
China.
Let's go to China.
And a lot of times it's just me following Brett around. Either I'm riding my skateboard, he's riding his bike, and we just go and film around the city. The second way that I'm making money during quarantine is actually my least profitable, but it's something that I normally wouldn't take on if we weren't under the current circumstances. But because we are, the money definitely helps. And that's what I would consider or call doing odd jobs as a creative. So for example, individuals have reached out to me to edit their photos or make a personal video for them, which like I said is totally out of the realm of the work I would normally take on. But I have made a few $100s during quarantine from projects like this. I think that projects like this are super obtainable for anyone to do. Like if you have basic level editing knowledge, you can do things like this and charge a few $100s for it. Okay, the last way that I've been making money in quarantine is something that I never expected.
Fake lips, faced in ad. And honestly, I don't think I can do this. Wish that I could mute it. I need to stop fucking with girls on the internet.
I haven't made a music video in over 2 years before quarantine, and it was mostly because it wasn't like the creative vision that I wanted to go down, or it wasn't high enough level of a production that I wanted to do. So I've turned down a lot of music videos in the past. But during this time, a lot of music videos have come in and have been presented to me. And what I've found is that's mostly because while a lot of other industries have decreased in spend because their revenue is less, the music industry has gone up because streams and plays on music is so high right now, and it's increased. So they're willing to spend money where other industries aren't. That market seems to be thriving. So as a freelancer, you kind of have to adapt to your environment, which means I had to go down the route of doing music videos. And I'm completely fine with that. I've been presented with a few amazing opportunities and projects to work on, and I love every single one of them so far. So like during this time of like quarantine and stuff, a lot of people are moving away from spending money, and there was a time where like I didn't have any work at all, and so a lot of the work that I've been doing during quarantine is like music video stuff, and you hired me specifically for a music video project that we're working on together. Can you like tell me what the value is there for you, or like why did you choose now to start to make something and like spend that money? Why did you choose now to do that?
I
think this time for me, it was literally like the creator inside was just yelling at me so loud to do something more, to create more, to bring beautiful things to the world. And what better way to tell a story from music, also with video. I'm just super grateful that serendipitously enough, after 3 different phone calls of playing phone tag with people and trying to find the right person that I could work with that really understood my vision, but that also wanted to express his. You're a special cat. Oh. You're a special cat.
Okay, so I just got back from Sean's house. Showing him that video went incredibly well, like better than I ever expected. Earlier today, I put a questionnaire on my Instagram story asking what questions you have about being a freelancer in general or about being a freelancer during this time. So let's go ahead and answer your questions. First question is from Nandon. How do you justify your value to a client if they deem filmmaking as being easy? This is my guidance, but take this as you will. I work with people who know the value in who they're hiring and know the value from the product that they're gonna get in the end. When it comes to the money side of things and how much you charge, that's all based on what you think you're worth. But if you have good quality work, you can easily justify that to a client, especially if they're reaching out to you first. At the end of the day, if a client isn't valuing you for who you are and the work that you're putting in, I would just consider if they're the right person to work with. The next question by Espo30. What is the best strategy or strategies for getting clients? There's a bunch of people asking this same question. I think it's really, really great. My answer's a little bit different because I don't do a whole lot of outreach, or I don't do a whole lot of going out to try to get clients. So this is purely just my personal take on it. There's a quote from this 1989 movie, Field of Dreams, and in the movie it says, if you build it, they will come. It's something I think about all the time, and I think it holds very true. If you build a really great quality and body of work, if you just make something amazing consistently, then the work will come. In my instance, that has really been my whole career. I started out making videos for myself, and then that turned into freelance work because someone was like, hey, can you do a video for me? And then it just snowballed from there. My friend Ben Smith asked, how do freelancers handle the unpredictability of client work, especially in a time like now? Ben, that is the world's greatest question. As a freelancer, I feel like we don't necessarily build in the insurance of times like this. Personally, as a freelance artist, the unpredictability side of things is exciting to me. I like not knowing where my next job's gonna be, when my next job's gonna be. That's just part of the hustle and part of the grind that I'm addicted to. Obviously, this instance is way more extreme. There was a period of time where I just didn't have any work. I couldn't get any work. I tried and there was nothing. I guess the short answer would be you need to build in some type of financial responsibility to your business so that when you do get to times like this, it doesn't put you out of business or it doesn't really put you in a hard place. It's not easy though, because spending money is fun and who doesn't like new things? But saving is always the right thing. Shout out to my mom, she knows. She tried to get me to save my whole life. Tyler Ullman asked, pricing in general, how do you know what to charge that is not too high but not too cheap? Tyler, this is something that I go back and forth with on every job, on every quote, on every pitch. I never know what to charge. I'm like, oh my God, is that too high? What is the client gonna think when they see that number? It's all relative to where you are in the process. When I first started out, my first paid gig, I charged $250. I quoted it as 8 hours of work, and I think it ended up being 30 hours of work. So I highly undervalued myself in my price. But for my first freelance job, I was so happy to get paid $250 for it. As you go along in the process, you do learn your worth and how much to charge, but it isn't easy. My suggestion is come up with an hourly rate that you would like to be paid and then quote the job based on the amount of hours that you think you're gonna work on it. So for example, my hourly rate is $100 an hour as a freelancer. If I'm quoting a 20-hour job, then that is $2,000. I justify my rate based on my market, which is New York City, but when I lived in Connecticut, my rate was much lower. Okay, this is gonna be the last question. It's from Wilson, and he asks, what suggestions do you have for someone wanting to do freelance work? Wilson, that is a great question, and my advice is when you get into freelance work, try everything. In my instance specifically, I tried filming a broad range of things, from weddings to corporate events to everything in between. I've tried it all, and because of that, I've learned what I love to do, and I learned what I definitely don't love to do. Any way I can get working with a camera not to feel like a normal job is the direction that I'm gonna go in. So for me, like weddings and filming corporate events, it didn't excite me. I hope you were able to get some value out of this video. If you have more questions, leave them down below, and I look forward to addressing them, and I will see you next week.